When the news first broke that New Jersey officials blocked traffic on the George Washington Bridge as some kind of political payback, Christie was adamant on 2 points. Number one, he didn't do it. And number two, he'd fix anything that led to such antics. Well, this weekend, I think we learned that one of those things isn't true. While no evidence has proven that Christie ordered those lane closures, Christie just rejected legislation to clean up the Port Authority, a secretive multi-billion-dollar entity that helped spawn Bridgegate. Now, this wasn't just any legislation. Legislators of New Jersey and New York just passed bipartisan, unanimous bills to reform the Port Authority and try to exert better control over its massive $7.8 billion budget. Now, it is not every day that you can get every legislator in these two, shall we say, argumentative states to agree on something. And yet, while those bills waited for gubernatorial action, Governor Christie hosted his New York counterpart, Governor Andrew Cuomo, just last Tuesday for a lunch at Il Villaggio, a massive hobnobbing spot that touts itself as, quote, one of the most authentic Italian restaurants in Bergen County, New Jersey. I'd love to try it. Now, we don't know what was on the menu, but it was an unusual off-site meeting, and then 4 days later, both governors vetoed this Port Authority reform bill, and they didn't seem proud about it, timing the vetoes, of course, for Christmas weekend, as I've mentioned. Here's how New Jersey Star Ledger's Tom Moran puts it. When governors act righteously, they hold televised news conferences at noon. When they act deviously, they issue written statements on Friday evening and scurry home for cover. But when they act indefensibly and sink into the company of serpents and snakes, they make their move on Saturday night of Christmas weekend, hoping the odor passes before the new week begins. Well, happy Monday, everybody. The new week has begun, and these governors may be betting that most people are simply going to be tuned out until the new year, and that's not exactly leadership, but they clearly think they'll get away with it. And this is coming from two people often rumored as potential presidential nominees for their respective parties. Joining me to break it down, MSNBC contributor Brian Murphy, a professor at Baruch College and the former managing editor of PolitickerNJ.com, relevant to this story, and former Vermont governor and MSNBC political analyst Howard Dean. Good evening to both of you. Brian, this is audacious, even if people haven't heard of the bill, when you hear that you literally had everyone in both states for it, and both these governors say, forget about it.
612 votes were cast in favor of it. I mean, that's the amazing thing. It's a bi-state agency, so to do anything big and structural, you need both states, both houses of the legislatures to pass identical bills in the same year. So we know that getting Congress, getting one state to do something is difficult enough. Getting these two states would have really different calendars. New York had an election going on, so they broke early this year. Getting both of those states to do the same thing in the same year, nearly impossible, and rejecting it late in the day at the last possible minute, when it's impossible for the states to have votes to override the veto, is shocking.
And Governor Dean, we can't overstate how critical in the politics of these two states this entity is, because it's been a piggy bank and a unilateral mechanism for these governors, the budget bigger than about 20 U.S. states entirely. So I get why they want to control the money, but shouldn't this pressure have meant something, or do you think ultimately they get away with this?
I think they get away with it in their own home states. If either one of these guys runs for president, they got a big problem. Because what's going to happen if any of them get any traction, this goes in every attack ad on either side of the aisle. I really, this sort of convinces me that Christie's not serious about running for president. This is a power move. This is a huge patronage organization that both states get a tremendous amount of patronage and control over a big, big budget. I just can't imagine doing this. If I was running for president, I just cannot imagine doing something like this that I know, if I get traction in the presidential race, is going to end up in an attack ad, not for the other party, but for your own party in a primary.
Yeah, and Brian, let's just listen to what Governor Christie was saying back in April about potential reforms.
I've been very clear about the fact that I think reform is needed and that we'll work on that. But what I'm not going to do is to respond to each idea that's thrown out there individually. I think it's the responsibility of Governor Cuomo and I to go at this in a very thoughtful way and to try to do it in a way that's going to bring the best change that we can bring to that organization. And I'm confident that given our relationship that we'll be able to do that.
Brian, to Governor Dean's point, that was the old strategy. Hey, we'll do something. Here he was given, as I've said, I can't emphasize enough, an unusually bipartisan reform something, and he's saying no to it. Does that mean, in your view, that he has a different presidential strategy?
I think that he thinks that he can cast himself as the chief reformer of this, and just by redefining what reform is. If voters and legislators thought that the problem with the Port Authority was patronage and conflict of interest and corruption, Christie and Cuomo are coming back and saying, no, 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 the problem is mission creep, and the way to solve it is to give the governors of this agency more control and to do reforms, sort of structural reforms that are gonna, they've got a good thing going here, right? They can give away a lot of jobs, they can give away a lot of contracts.
Sure, yeah.
They handpick the commission.
No, they love the patronage. Governor Dean, you're laughing. Go ahead.
I mean, really, this does not pass the straight face test. First of all, Chris Christie has an enormous problem in a place like Iowa or Minnesota, just culturally. Forget about it. As I've said before, it's not a great platform in Iowa, no matter what party you're in. Second of all, people believe that fairly or unfairly that New Jersey and New York are not terribly honestly run states. That's what they believe, whether it's fair or not. So you have the General Assemblies in both states passing, both Republicans and Democrats unanimously passing a reform bill, and the governors are going to say no, and then Chris Christie is going to go to Iowa and try to explain this to a bunch of pretty straight-laced people who are fairly serious about good government. I don't see this. I just can't understand how you could possibly even think that you're going to get away with this if you're running for president.
And then, Brian, I want to also get to Governor Cuomo here, who, of course, comes from a strong family Democratic name, and everyone remembers Mario Cuomo. He's rumored as a potential presidential aspirant if Hillary isn't running. What do you make of him going to New Jersey to have this great North Bergen Italian lunch and make what looks like a backroom deal with this prominent rising Republican?
It's the funny thing about that restaurant is there's nothing subtle about that. It's a really public place. I've been to political dinners there before. I know the restaurant well. It's like if you go in, right? They're not trying to hide here. They're hiding in plain sight. This alliance is completely interesting, I think, and it continues to be perplexing to the people who cover both New York and New Jersey. That, you know, it seemed like it was maybe opportunistic for Andrew Cuomo to partner with Christie until his reelection, but since his reelection is over now. It's a remarkable thing. I think it's an alliance of mutual necessity that's going on here, and they both recognize that they have an interest in keeping things exactly the way they are at the Port Authority. Yeah,
you get the feeling this is their joint bank account, and even post-election, they're going to continue to defend that prerogative. Brian Murphy and Governor Howard Dean, thank you both for joining me tonight.
Thank you.